Welcome to Sleepy Classic Tales. Tonight, we listen to our own calm and gently narrated short version of Oliver Twist, written by Charles Dickens and first published in 1837. Oliver Twist is born in a workhouse. His mother dies shortly after his birth without ever revealing her name. No one knows who she was or where she came from. For the people who take the child in, this does not matter. Oliver is one of many orphaned children, one more mouth to feed, one more problem in a system that barely functions at all. The first years of his life are spent in what is officially called an infant home. The name sounds caring, but the reality is not. The children receive just enough food to stay alive. Hunger is their constant companion. Many of them die early, quietly, unnoticed, without anyone asking their names. When Oliver is 9 years old, he is transferred to the actual workhouse. There, a strict regime rules daily life. Meals are scarce, discipline is harsh. The boys receive thin gruel twice a day, sometimes a small piece of bread, nothing more. Hunger is not an exception. It is the norm. One evening, after weeks of unbearable deprivation, the boys decide that one of them must ask for more food. They draw lots. The choice falls on Oliver. He is thin, pale, no stronger than the others, but he does what he is told. With trembling hands, he steps forward and speaks the words that will change his life forever. He asks for a second portion. The reaction is shock, not pity, shock. As if Oliver had committed a crime. The overseer is speechless, then furious. The request is not seen as hunger, but as insolence, as an attack on order itself. Oliver is brought before the authorities. They agree quickly. This child is dangerous. Anyone who asks for more than he is given questions the entire system. Shortly afterward, a notice is placed on the gate of the workhouse. It announces that a boy is to be apprenticed in exchange for a small sum of money. This is how Oliver's path out of the workhouse begins. Not because anyone wants to help him, but because they want to get rid of him. He is first sent to work for an undertaker. There he lives among mourning, narrow rooms, and mockery. The apprentices treat him as an intruder. The master sees him as little more than cheap labor. One day, Oliver is mocked for his origins, for his dead mother, about whom no one knows anything. Something inside him breaks. He strikes back. That is too much. He runs away. Alone, hungry, and without a destination, Oliver sets out toward London. He does not know what awaits him there. He only knows that somewhere must be better than where he came from. When he reaches the city, he is exhausted. London is vast, loud, and indifferent. In the narrow streets, he meets a boy his own age, friendly, well-dressed, with a bold smile. He introduces himself as the Artful Dodger. Dodger takes Oliver with him. He says he knows a place where one can eat. Oliver follows him, without knowing that this is the moment his life takes a new and darker direction. Oliver stays with the boy who calls himself the Artful Dodger. Dodger is confident, almost elegant. His clothes are surprisingly neat for someone who lives on the streets. He speaks quickly, jokes constantly, and seems perfectly at home in London's alleys. For Oliver, who has known only commands and deprivation, this encounter feels almost like rescue. Dodger brings him to an old house in a decaying neighborhood. Inside, several boys sit around a table. They laugh, eat, and tell stories. There is bread, meat, even warm drinks. Oliver is overwhelmed. No one shouts at him. No one strikes him. No one asks about his past. Then the man appears whom everyone listens to. He is older, small, with a friendly face and a calm voice. His name is Fagin. Fagin welcomes Oliver warmly. He speaks of community, of loyalty, of everyone having a place. To Oliver, it sounds like something he has never known: the longing. Fagin lets him eat, lets him sleep, and promises to take care of him. Over the following days, Oliver observes the other boys. They play strange games. They practice moving unnoticed through crowds. They laugh about how easily things can be borrowed: handkerchiefs, wallets, small valuables. At first, Oliver does not understand what is really happening. He is naive and inexperienced and believes in goodness. Only when he sees Dodger and another boy pick a man's pocket does the truth slowly dawn on him. When Oliver himself becomes involved, everything goes wrong. Dodger and his companions steal from an elderly gentleman. Oliver freezes in confusion and is caught. The others escape. Oliver is accused, arrested, and brought before a court. But fate intervenes. A witness steps forward. The real culprits are recognized. Oliver is acquitted. The elderly gentleman, Mr. Brownlow, is struck by Oliver's innocence. He takes him home. There, Oliver receives clean clothes, his own bed, and regular meals. For the first time, he experiences genuine care, without conditions, without threats. But this safety does not last long. Fagin and his circle have not forgotten Oliver. They fear he might talk, that he might betray them, even though Oliver would never intend to do so. One day, Oliver is kidnapped. By force, he is dragged back into the old neighborhood. The hope of a different life is taken from him before he can fully understand it. Now Fagin uses him deliberately, no longer as a naive child, but as a tool. Oliver is forced to assist in burglaries, not out of cruelty, but because he has no choice. Thus, Oliver sinks deeper into a world of crime, manipulation, and fear. A world ruled by adults who have learned that pity is a weakness, and that children are easy to shape. And while Oliver still hopes that somewhere there is a place for him, a web of intrigue begins to tighten in the background, far larger than he can imagine. After the kidnapping, Oliver is no longer the child who simply hopes to be taken in somewhere kindly. He is now a child who understands that one can show him a home and take it away the next moment. Fagin continues to treat him with false warmth, a warmth that feels like care, but is really a leash. He speaks of belonging, of survival together. But Oliver knows, this is not a family. It is a cage. Fagin has decided that Oliver must now be useful, and for this he turns to a man who embodies the darkest side of this world like no other: Bill Sikes. Sikes is the opposite of Fagin. Where Fagin flatters, Sikes threatens. Where Fagin smiles, Sikes snarls. He is brutal, quick to anger, and violence seems not a means to an end for him, but a habit. At his side is his dog, an animal that already senses one should never defy its master. Oliver is taken to Sikes. No one says it aloud, but it is clear. Oliver has no choice. Sikes needs him for a burglary. A child attracts less attention, can fit through small windows, can open doors. And if something goes wrong, the child will be the first to be blamed. In this world, guilt is assigned like a tool, not by truth, but by usefulness. Oliver begs. He says he cannot do this. He says he does not want to. But every word only makes it worse. Here, no means provocation, and Sikes makes it painfully clear that resistance brings pain. On the night of the burglary, Oliver is taken along. They move through dark streets, past houses where people sleep, unaware that their lives are being decided at this very moment. Oliver feels the cold, the fear, the trembling in his hands. And at the same time, the unbearable sense that he controls none of this. He is not a criminal by choice. He is a body moved by others. At the house, Oliver is led to a window. He is to climb inside and open a door. The men's voices are flat and businesslike. For them, this is routine. For Oliver, it is a plunge into something incomprehensible. How can adults be so calm while destroying lives? Oliver climbs inside, and in that instant, everything collapses. A noise, movement, voices. The house wakes. Oliver is discovered. Someone shouts, someone screams, panic erupts, and then a shot is fired. Oliver feels a burning pain. He falls. Sounds blur, doors slam. Outside, the men curse. Sykes flees. Later, Fagin will want to know whether they succeeded. But Oliver is only a wounded child, struggling for breath. Then something unexpected happens. The people in the house, who should see Oliver as an enemy, recognize what he truly is. A child. Not a dangerous criminal, not a villain, but a frightened, injured boy who clearly does not belong there. Oliver is taken in. He is cared for. He receives water, a bed, and rest. For the second time in a short period, he experiences something unfamiliar, genuine humanity in the midst of brutality. The family is cautious, but not cruel. They ask questions. Oliver can barely answer, but his very existence tells enough. This child has been consumed by something far larger than himself. While Oliver slowly recovers, the web tightens further in the background. Fagin will not simply disappear. Sykes will not accept that Oliver is now in other hands, and there is someone else with his own calculation. A man whose hatred is cold, silent, and planned. That man is Monks. He appears controlled, almost unremarkable, and precisely because of that, he is dangerous. He does not care whether Oliver suffers. He cares about one thing only, that no one discovers who this child really is. Because Oliver is more than an orphan, and the longer he lives, the greater the danger that the truth will come to light. As Oliver slowly recovers from his injury, it seems for the first time that his life might take a different path. The people who have taken him in do not treat him as a tool or a problem, but as a child. They listen to him. They believe him. Above all, they see him. But this calm is deceptive. Outside, far from Oliver's sickbed, decisions are already being made about his fate. Monks and Fagin share a goal, though for different reasons. Fagin wants Oliver back in his net because every boy who escapes is a risk. Monks wants something else entirely. Oliver gone. Forever. Gradually, it becomes clear that Oliver is no random victim. He is part of a story that began long before his birth. Oliver comes from a family where inheritance, names, and money matter. That is exactly why he is dangerous to Monks. As long as Oliver lives, nothing is secure. No property, no claims, no clean ending. Monk's hatred is cold and calculated. He does not try to kill Oliver directly. Instead, he wants to destroy his reputation. He wants Oliver seen as a criminal, as a lost cause, as someone no one believes. A child no one believes is easy to erase, socially and physically. But Oliver is fortunate. For the first time, adults stand beside him who do not look away. Mr. Brownlow, an educated older man with a sharp mind and a sense of justice, begins to suspect that Oliver's story does not add up. He sees connections, asks questions, gathers evidence. Most importantly, he listens to Oliver without putting words in his mouth. Slowly, a picture emerges. A picture of betrayal, family secrets, and a child who never should have suffered, if adults had taken responsibility. At the same time, tension grows in the criminal underworld. Bill Sikes becomes increasingly unstable. He knows Oliver has been seen, that he has spoken, that he has become a threat. His violence escalates, his control slips. Fagin also senses his system breaking apart. The police draw closer. Trust becomes scarce. Then events accelerate. A murder is committed. Bill Sikes kills, not in self-defense, but in panic and rage. The act shocks even those accustomed to violence. Suddenly, there is no turning back. Sikes flees, hunted not only by the police, but by his own conscience. His end is brutal and empty. Not heroic, not glorified. Meaningless. Exactly like the life he lived. With Sikes's fall, Fagin's world collapses as well. He is arrested. The man who lived so long in the shadows now stands in harsh public light. There he appears small, frightened, old. The power he held over children evaporates the moment it is exposed. Oliver, meanwhile, stands at a turning point. The truth about his origins comes to light. Monks's scheme is uncovered. His plan fails, not because Oliver is strong, but because others finally choose to look. And this may be the most important moment of the story. Oliver is not saved by bravery or cleverness. He is saved by the decision of a few adults to take responsibility. After the truth is revealed, the web of lies, fear, and manipulation begins to loosen. Not suddenly, not without resistance, but step by step, just as justice in this story always arrives, late, but steady. Fagin waits in prison for his sentence. For the first time, he is no longer the clever puppet master in the background. Without his boys, without power, without escape, he no longer appears as a dangerous mastermind, but as what he always was, a man who used others to survive. His fear is visible, but pity does not follow. Too many lives have been destroyed, too many children trapped. Monks, meanwhile, loses everything he tried to protect. His attempts to erase Oliver, socially or physically, fail. Documents, evidence, and testimony prove beyond doubt that Oliver is the rightful heir. Monk's hatred is revealed as pure fear of loss, of a life he did not want to share. Oliver receives what was never granted to him, a name, an origin, a history. But Dickens does something remarkable here. Oliver does not suddenly become rich and happy as if all suffering were erased. There is no fairy tale leap into a perfect life. Instead, the story shows something far more honest. Healing takes time. Oliver moves in with Mr. Brownlow, who does not see him as a project, but as a person. He receives education, structure, and, perhaps most importantly, stability. No one forces him to be someone else. No one exploits his gratitude. Other lives also find their conclusions. Nancy, whose life was shaped by violence and dependence, is not saved. Her story ends tragically. Dickens makes this choice deliberately. Not everyone who recognizes what is wrong can escape. Some pay for their insight with their lives. And this does not diminish their courage. It magnifies it. Rose Maylie, warm and thoughtful, embodies the opposite of a cold society. She acts out of compassion, not duty. She proves that kindness is not a luxury, but a decision. In the end, Oliver stands in a place that seems modest, yet means everything. He belongs, not because he is useful, not because he has proven himself, but simply because he exists. And here lies the core of Oliver Twist. This story is not only about poverty, crime, or social injustice. It is about a system that breaks children, and about the question of who looks and who turns away. Dickens makes one thing clear. The greatest injustice is not committed by individual villains, but by indifference, by institutions meant to protect but which see no one, by adults who pass responsibility along until no one carries it. Oliver survives not because he is exceptionally strong, but because he refuses to stop being good, even when the world gives him every reason not to be. And perhaps this is the quietest yet strongest message of the novel, that goodness is not a sign of weakness, but of resistance. That was our calm, short version of Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens, a story about poverty, powerlessness, and what happens when systems fail those they are meant to protect. If you wondered why institutions fail so completely in this story, and how deeply Dickens's own childhood shaped this novel, we explore these and many other questions in our companion book, Golden Pages, Volume 1. The link can be found in the description. Good night. And if you like, we will listen to each other again tomorrow.